Kia ora, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This will get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news. Markets are pricing much lower yields for New Zealand government bonds, partly in response to international market shifts. But in US economic fortunes still hasn't shown up in their weekly jobless claims data. They came in low last week and lower than expected. There are now 1.9 million people on these benefits. But even though weaker conditions are showing up in more factory data, the Fed's monthly Beige Book surveys came in less negative than expected, noting moderate to modest expansions across the country in their labour markets and for prices. It is tough being a bear on the US economy. But you're being helped by the Republicans in Congress, who are refusing to pass a budget resolution. The US Treasury has started its extraordinary measures to keep the US federal government from defaulting on its payments. In Japan, exports rose more than expected in December and imports rose less than expected, but they still ran a record high trade deficit, which is an historically unusual position for them. And the ECB says inflation in Europe is still way too high. They signal they're determined to push rates into restrictive territory for long enough to return inflation to their 2% target. In Australia, the December labour market data was a minor disappointment, mainly because November data was revised lower. Full-time employment rose 17,000 when a 34,000 rise was expected. Part-time positions retreated by 32,000 when they were expected to expand by 25,000. Most analysts seem to think the December hesitation is a one-off. And container shipping costs were virtually unchanged last week, although bulk cargo freight rates continued their sharp falls and are back at or below their long-term averages, which, given inflation, makes them very cheap again. The US Treasury 10-year yield starts today at 3.42% and up 3 basis points from yesterday. And the price of gold will open today at $1,921 an ounce, and that's up $15. And oil prices start today little changed at just over $81 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is still just over $86.50. And the Kiwi dollar has softened overnight, now at 63.9 US cents, down 0.5 cent. Against the Australian dollar, we're little changed at 92.5 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're down 0.75 cent at 59 euro cents. That all means our trade weight index starts today at 71 and down 50 basis points from this time yesterday. Get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.